Welcome to ReReadium on YouTube, your destination for timeless works of classical literature. Sit back, listen, and discover the stories that shaped the world.
All right, let's get into it. Today, we're exploring a book that's all about the terror of burning knowledge, only to find out that some ideas, well, they just don't catch fire. Of course, I'm talking about Ray Bradbury's incredible classic, Fahrenheit 451. So right from the jump, Bradbury hits you with this very specific, very startling fact. But here's a little tidbit for you. While that number is completely iconic, scientists will tell you the real autoignition temperature for paper kind of varies, you know? It's somewhere between 424 and 475 degrees. But it was Bradbury's number that just stuck. It captured everyone's imagination.
And because of that, 451 has become so much more than just a temperature on a thermometer. It is the symbol for the book's chilling central idea, the systematic destruction of knowledge by the very people you'd think would be there to protect us.
Okay, let's step into this deeply unsettling world that Bradbury built. I want you to just picture it. A society where learning or being curious isn't just frowned upon, it's against the law. And the people who are supposed to keep you safe, they've been twisted into the enforcers of ignorance. And that brings us to the core, mind-bending irony of the whole novel. Firemen don't put out fires, they start them. Their one job is to burn books, to turn all of human history, all our stories, all our big ideas into nothing but ash. And they do it all in the name of keeping people happy, safe from any difficult or contradictory thoughts. So the big question is, how did this society even get to this point? And here's where Bradbury's genius really shines, because his answer isn't some simple government takeover. No, the truth is, it's a lot more complicated and frankly, a lot more disturbing than that. Which leads us to the absolute heart of the novel. Just think about that for a second. Why would an entire society agree to give up its own stories, its own memory, its own soul? The answer Bradbury gives us, it's a serious warning. So here's the novel's most chilling insight. The censorship in this world, it's a two-way street. On one hand, yeah, you've got the top-down government control, the firemen, the laws, but you also have this bottom-up pressure from the people themselves, who choose mindless fun over actual thinking. They demand censorship because they don't want to be offended. And the ultimate irony? In their hunt for a simple, happy life, they end up creating a world that's totally empty and miserable. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This is Captain Beatty, the fire chief, explaining that the government didn't even have to force it on them. He says society did it to itself. They traded real freedom for cheap thrills and a life where no one ever had to think about a controversial idea. And that sets the stage perfectly for our main character, Guy Montag, because his story shows us that in a world that demands ignorance, the simple act of asking why, that's the most rebellious thing you can possibly do. When we first meet Montag, he's a company man. He's a loyal fireman who thinks he's doing good work. But then, a few chance encounters start to plant these little seeds of doubt, and soon he's questioning everything. His job, his life, and whether anyone in his society is actually happy at all. There are really four key people who are pulling Montag in different directions. You've got Clarice, who's the spark, the one who opens his eyes. Then there's his wife, Mildred, who is the perfect example of the brainwashed society he's stuck in. You have Faber, the mentor, who reminds him of the world of ideas that's been lost. And finally, Captain Beatty, the villain, a man who knows how important books are, which is exactly why he's so dedicated to destroying them. Montag's rebellion isn't some overnight thing. It happens step by step. It all starts with just a conversation. That leads him to commit a crime, stealing a book. Then he has to find a teacher. It all builds to this massive confrontation and a desperate escape, where he finally finds other people who aren't just saving books, they're becoming the books. So you have to ask, where did this all terrifying idea come from? Well, this wasn't just some sci-fi fantasy. It was born from the very real fears of the mid-20th century. Bradbury was basically looking at the world around him and screaming a warning. I mean, think about it. As a young guy, he saw the newsreels of Nazi book burnings. Then came the McCarthy era right here in the US with its blacklists and paranoia. And at the exact same time, he saw the television showing up in every home. And he worried it wasn't just a fun new gadget, but a machine that could lull society into giving up reading altogether. Fahrenheit 451 was his answer to all of it. So for Bradbury, it all boiled down to three huge fears. Number one, absolutely, was government censorship. But he was maybe even more afraid of a society that just stops reading on its own because it's distracted by mass media. And his third big fear? Special interest groups demanding that anything that might be offensive gets erased, leaving behind art that says absolutely nothing.
And that right there is why a book written over 70 years ago can feel like it was written last week. Its warnings haven't gone away. If anything, they've just gotten louder and more urgent in our digital world.
Bradbury's work is at its heart a timeless cautionary tale. It's about the constant fight to protect our right to think freely and to resist that oh-so-tempting pull of easy entertainment over hard truths.
I mean, just look around you. Those parlor walls that Montag's wife was obsessed with, they're the glowing screens we hold in our hands every single day. The digital echo chambers that feed us what we already believe, the constant battle over misinformation, the intense debates about pressure groups silencing voices they don't like. The themes of this book are literally everywhere we look.
So, in the end, Bradbury leaves us with a challenge. He showed us one way to burn a book, with kerosene and a match. But he warned that the real danger, the more insidious fire, is what happens when a society just chooses to stop reading. And that forces us to ask a really tough question. What are the matches of our time?